And good morning. We are live and we are here with you once again today. I'm sitting outside today. Beautiful day here in Tennessee. And I'm drinking some of my best coffee in the world, some of my holy cacao, Headbangers Brew. How fun is that? Just saying. Anyway, got a few things I'd like to share with you. Check in, let me know that you're here. Put your name and where you're from. I'd love to greet you as you come in, and we'll have a great time today. I got a couple of guys joining me in a few minutes, and we got some interesting things coming up. So that'll be kind of cool. Renee is here. Good to see you, Renee. And Tina, great to see you again, Tina, from West Hollywood. Great. George is here from Lebanon. Good to see you, George. And Scott from Kentucky. Hey, Baub, from Tim Pope. Tim always calls me Baub. And Tim, of course, is the drummer, ex-drummer for Ray Charles, and still doing a lot of drumming today. Rich is here. Good morning. Out working in Indiana, he says. Awesome. And appreciate you guys joining me today. Ray from Western New York. Good to see you. People always say Western because they don't want to be affiliated. You know what I'm saying? Diego, my good friend from Argentina. Good to see you, dude. All right. We got the coolest people joining us today. We're going to have a great time. And thank you for joining me as we spend some great time together. Tina says, where are the geese and the ducks? Well, they were here, and then Randy just mowed the yard. And so they all went back into the lake, and I'm sure they'll be up before too long, making some good noise behind us, most likely. So you know how that goes. Well, folks, thank you for joining me again. Check in. Let me know that you're here. Put your name and where you're from, and comments, questions, whatever you got today. We're going to just take some of your questions. I'm going to introduce you to a few folks that I'd love for you to meet, and not duck dinners. No, David. He always makes that joke. No, not duck dinners. The ducks. And sadly, some of the baby ducks become dinner for the hawks that are around here. And I watched them pick a few of them off, but we have a lot of babies right now. And in the yard, there's probably, I would guess, maybe 15 or 20 different geese families and a few duck families. And it's just kind of fun to watch them all grow up here. So that's been pretty fun. Cooper Hawk, good to see you, my good friend. Thanks for being online. He says, you know, I'm excited to be online, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little while. But it's always good to be live here with you today, and I thought, what a great time to spend some time outside as well. So the sun is a little bright, and you can't see real well behind me, but we'll try. We'll try anyway. Well, let me know that you're here. Put your name and where you're from. I'd love to be able to say hello to you and to greet you as you come in. David said, could you talk about living a solitude life and how it's a gift from God? That's a great subject, David. And David, I know you live the same way, that you're more of a solitude kind of person. And I love living by myself. Now, my mom lives with me too. You guys know that, but we kind of have separate parts of the house. So Bryce is here. Good to see you, Bryce, from St. George. Awesome. St. Bryce from St. George, and James from Indiana. I'm going back to Indiana to sing. Felicia from Florida. See, we're having St. Bryce, Felicia from Florida. Cool names. James is here. Hi, James. Good to see you too. Folks, check in with me. Let me know you're here. Tell me where you're from. I'd love to know that. Roger West is here from New York. Good to see you again, Roger. Great to have all of you joining me today. And in a beautiful day here in Nashville, Tennessee, to sing. This is kind of God's country, as you can see. David says new and different glasses. Well, these are. Thank you for noticing. They're a little bit tinted because they keep everything from being too bright. You are very observant, and thank you for that. That's awesome, David, and I appreciate that. So, sitting here drinking some good brew. Sean is here from New York. Good to see you, Sean. Drinking some Headbangers brew. You know, we have this new kind called Holy Cacao. And I'm just saying, holy cacao, it's really good. And it has cacao beans in it from the Amazon rainforest. I know. How cool is that? And so it's been our newest blend. It's selling really fast. We just had to put in a new reorder. Thank you for that. All the proceeds for our coffee and our mugs and our t-shirts and everything go to help with our homeless. You can get them. I don't know if he has that available, but wearemetalwearefamily.com. Barry, good to see you today. He says, I'll be ordering some soon. Good for you, dude. Good to see you, Barry. And of course, Levo does our homeless refuge report at that same place, wearemetalwearefamily.com. And remind you of both of those two things. And Levo is the guy that just cut the yard behind me. Yes. So thank you for doing that. And he's a good guy. He runs our homeless ministry here. And I guess you kind of have to wear a lot of different hats around here because there's always a lot of things to do. So that's the cool part. So just a few years ago, I didn't like coffee. And a friend in Denmark, actually, when I was there, said, you know, I didn't used to like it either. And so I started putting cream and sugar in it so I could tolerate it and get used to it. And so I started doing that. And then, of course, cut back on the sugar because I don't eat sugar, but natural sugars and then some cream. And pretty soon I was drinking it black and enjoyed it. So, yeah. So now I'm a coffee aficionado. I'm kind of a coffee snob because I go to coffee shops and I go, that's not so good. That's all right. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've become one of those. I know. Well, I want to introduce you to somebody today. You know, it takes a lot of people to make things happen. And the guy that makes things happen here as our producer is Jake Adams. Jake, come on screen with me. I'd like to introduce you for a second and for people to get to see you and get to know you a little bit. And there he is. Now, your picture is very small and there we go. Now we're in the same size. And that, folks, that good-looking guy, well, that's me. But right next to me is it's Jake Adams. Jake, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's funny you say good-looking guy because I work at the UPS stores here locally in Lynchburg, and we had the opportunity to give Toys for Tots books to the Jubilee Foundation here, and so we got to go meet the kids and hang out. I told my boss, I'm like, I know I'm not going for the looks. I'm just going to lift the heavy stuff. Right? He's like, yeah, pretty much. We just need you to lift boxes. So I'm definitely not the face.
That's awesome. Now, Jake, you when you say here, where do you mean? Tell people where you live and where you're from.
So I'm currently in Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm graduated from Liberty University last May. Stuck around trying to figure out what God's doing with my life. Worked for Liberty for a little bit. Tried to go for my master's. That was just too much. And then things started opening up for you. And I'm just super happy to be able to do this for you and work with the heavy metal community.
Yes.
Just a lot going on. A lot of exciting things.
Well, and we're excited to have you here. And Jake is right now running all of our live broadcasts. Phil Curtis just joined us, Jake. How are you, Phil? Phil is one of the hosts of our Comic Book Guys, lives in Australia. In fact, he's up late. This is late at night for him.
They're about 14 hours ahead
Bad,
of 10 o'clock my time, so it's almost midnight Sunday, or past midnight Sunday morning for him.
Yeah, it is. Yes. So your degree is in communications and is in audio, mostly, isn't it?
Mostly. We did a lot of different stuff. My concentration was audio. We did video stuff, TV production, stuff like that. But that actually wasn't what I moved up here for. I moved up here for sports medicine and athletic training. But God definitely moved in my heart, and I saw Skillet at Winterfest, and it was me and John Cooper right above me because I was right at the stage, and God said, "You're going to do this." I said, "Okay, let's do it." And
dude, that's awesome. Good.
I never thought I'd be able to do what I'm doing, so I'm super blessed to be able to be a part of all this.
Well, and we are super excited about that too, Jake. I mean, honestly, it's been really good to have you here with us, and you've done a great job, and many great things to come as well. Now, people tell me, Jake, that I have the perfect face for radio. And you do radio as well. Now you have a better face than I do, but radio is kind of your thing. And for everyone that enjoys radio and enjoys listening and not necessarily watching, in the future we're going to do intense radio again, aren't we?
Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that's in pre-production. I don't want to give a whole lot of it away because there's some exciting stuff going on. But yeah, there's a lot going on. I've been talking to Matt Match over the past probably 3 weeks or so, just on and off, brainstorming, just trying to come up what we're going to do with Intense Radio. So it's going to be reborn, but we don't know when yet because there's just a lot of stuff that needs to be done first.
Yes. But we'll just give a little teaser and say it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I will say I'm going to Kingdom Come Fest in a few weeks, and Matt wants me to meet some bands, so that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yes. And in the meantime, you're collecting station IDs and getting things rolling. And so when it's time, and it's not going to be just a regular station, we'll have some very unique things that only you will do. And the people involved will be pretty cool. And of course, Sanctuary folks, who are always the coolest, by the way. So I think that'll be a great thing. Also, live broadcasts, Jake. We've got a lot more of them coming up. Starting next Saturday, the Chief and I are back doing The Odd Couple every week with special guests. And that'll be 9 a.m. Central Time. I have a new podcast coming up too that maybe we'll just give a little teaser, Jake.
I think that'd be kind of cool. You were telling me about it the other day. I'm excited for it. I have some pretty cool ideas.
Good. Well, it's going to be called Joy Story. It's kind of a takeoff on Toy Story because I'm a little bit of a Pixar nut, just saying. I love Toy Story, but Joy Story, people telling their stories. I think you'll enjoy that. It'll be on Wednesdays. Of course, we got the Wise Guys. We got several other surprises coming up too that we're not quite ready to announce. But Jake, the future's so bright, we have to wear shades. Just saying.
Oh, absolutely. It's just between talking to you and just a bunch of other guys around Sanctuary that we've got a lot going on. There's a lot on our plate. There's a lot in development, but it's just one step at a time, making sure we don't take too much.
Yes, absolutely. Well, good stuff coming up. I wanted you to be able to put a face to the producer of this show and our other live shows. So you know what he looks like, and he has the perfect face for producer for video as well. You did good, dude. You look good. Just
Thank
saying.
you.
All right, Jake. Thank you so much. And you can again get a hold of Jake, right here at Sanctuary if you'd like to correspond with him, if you have some ideas for him, whatever. He is always glad to hear from you. And maybe, Jake, you'd put your Sanctuary email up there somewhere at some point when you have a minute. That would be great.
Okay.
Well, Jake, thanks for taking a couple minutes to come on screen with me. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
You're
Pastor
awesome,
Bob.
dude.
Thank you.
All
You
right.
too.
Thanks. Well, folks, let me know if you're coming online. Let me know your name, where you're from. Love to be able to say hello to you. I have another very special guest coming up in just a couple of minutes, but I wanted to spend a few minutes saying hello, maybe answering any questions that you might have. David asked about living in solitude, and I think all of us need a little bit of solitary time, don't we? A little bit of time where we kind of let the hustle and bustle of the day kind of diminish a bit, and we just spend some time with God, spend some time thinking. A lot of people think, well, if I'm in solitude, that means that I just have to be quiet and talk to God the whole time. And I kind of feel like I'm talking to God all the time, whether it's directed there or not. And sometimes being in solitude is just listening. Now, I love to sit out here and listen. This is awesome. Especially in the evenings, it's not quiet. The frogs are out in the evenings and they're croaking. But during the day, there's all the ducks and the geese, and there are these little chirping sounds from all the babies that are in the yard. Such great sounds, and I'm so thankful that God's created solitude for us too, and that feeling of solitude. And David, I think you're right. Sometimes it just needs to, yeah, just needs to get from there into here. It needs to go back and forth. So David says reaching into screen and getting a hold of Jake. See, there you go. He doesn't know how to get a hold of you yet, Jake. So Jake, you'll just have to put your there you are, Rise Above Productions at hotmail.com. And Jake, we need to get you a Sanctuary email address. So let's do that. And then it'll be easy, just Jake at sanctuaryinternational.com. That's the one we'll give you. All right. Well, folks, if you're joining us, since I started, give me your name, where you're joining from, and if you have any questions or comments, happy to take those. Cole says, hello, Pastor Bob, came to you from your home state, the Big Sky. Montana is where I'm from. Montana, Montana, I love you. Our state song. But good to see you. Rodney, my good friend Rodney is here from Australia. Good to see you, dude. And, I love that people are joining us from all over the place. That's kind of cool, isn't it? And let me know where you're coming from today as we continue just to hang out together, to have a little chat and, be cool, because we're cool. And the Afflicted Band, awesome, from Indiana is here. The Afflicted, awesome. And, speaking of bands, we have audio feed coming up in just a couple of weeks in Illinois. I will be there in the Sanctuary tent. I'll be speaking every evening. Also, I haven't announced yet, but I will also be at Immortal Festival in Ohio during, I think it's the first week of September. So I'll be there introducing bands and doing a little speaking. And if you're planning to be there with Barren Cross and Sacred Warrior and White Cross and et cetera, all the great bands are going to be there. Kind of a nostalgia fest. Looking forward to seeing you there as well. So, and Nana's here today. A hearty good morning, she says. Good to see you, Nanette. And Nanette, of course, is one of our sanctuary podcasters and very good friend. Good to see you. So, folks, let me know where you're from. Let me know your name when you come in. Ellen is here from Georgia. Just found out about Christian anarchist groups. Do you have any insight into that? Well, I think anarchy used to be going against the government and against the status quo. And you almost feel like these days that's, dare I say, almost biblical. There's a lot of things happening around us today that are not godly. And so I think to take a stand on those things is important, isn't it? Yeah, it's a fine line. And of course, everything has to do with the attitudes of our hearts. Am I an anarchist at heart, or am I a peaceful person at heart? Am I angry with everyone, or am I loving with everyone? And the Bible says to present ourselves with love, with agape, unconditional love. That's what people ought to see in us, isn't it? Very, very important. Well, let me know if you're joining us today. Let me know if you have any other comments. He says, I have to mop the floors fast shortly. David is about to mop the floor. I wish you were here at my house. I need to do the same thing. I know. I need to be mopping. Cole, what's your take on Pride Month? Well, I hate it, to be honest with you. And I would hate it just as much if heterosexuals had a Pride Month too, because I don't think it should be a thing. And when I look into the movement, when 28% of 40-year-old gay men have had sex with over 500 people, yeah, 79% of them were people they didn't know. That's nothing to take pride in, and that's the whole thing seems to be very sexual. Am I against homosexuals or heterosexuals or whatever? It's not the point. It's how do we live? What is our lifestyle? And the Bible says that sexuality is an important thing. And, unless you're married, and marriage is between a man and a woman, sex shouldn't be part of it. And I always tell my gay friends that they have the same rules that I do. And that is that, I'm celibate and I always have been. I'm still a virgin to this day, and I'm almost 70 because I've never been married. And I made it through. I'm still alive. I didn't die from it. I know. Amazing, isn't it? Well, I want to bring on another special guest today. And this guy is an old friend. Well, he's old and he's a friend. And Todd Bowe is here with us today. There he is. See, now, there's the good-looking guy right there. So, Todd, I want to talk a little bit about our history because we have some.
Yes, we do.
Todd and I go back 40 years. Can you imagine having good friends for 40 years? And we have been all that time. And I'll give you a little secret. We still like each other after 40 years. Yeah. We still have a good time together and we still appreciate each other a whole lot. And Jake, do we have some of those old pictures? I gave Jake a couple old pictures of us, Todd, that I thought would be kind of fun to put on the screen, showing what we used to look like, way back in the day. And let's see if he's got those. I'm not sure he does. He'll probably put them on at some point randomly. But Todd, 40 years ago, we met each other. I was speaking at a church and doing a presentation about music, and you came to the presentation and then another one, and we just became good friends and have been ever since then. You were there at the very beginning of Sanctuary, the first meeting. You were one of the pastors of Sanctuary in California. You still are. And Todd, you are at this point, your official title is the director of Sanctuary International. I'm just the old guy in charge, but he's actually the director. And you know, when all these cool things happen, Todd's the one doing them. It's not me. I just go, attaboy, Todd. Tim Pope is saying hello to you, Todd.
Hey Tim, how you doing, man? It is good to see you on here. I can't wait to see you in person. I understand you're going to be possibly making a trip out here, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. And we have a lot of great memories of Tim, don't we?
We do.
He was on the worship team years ago, and he was playing with Ray Charles at that time, and just so good.
Yeah.
Brian says, I enjoyed the Wise Guys show. I hope you do it again, Todd. Talk about Wise Guys.
Thanks, Brian. Well, let me catch up with you a little bit, Bob. You ran by a number of things there, and I think it's actually 41 years now. We skipped over another year. It ran by so fast.
It did.
Yeah, 41 years.
Wow.
And yes, I met you the week I was introduced to Jesus. I was 17, and I started going. My first church I'd ever gone to was a Lutheran church, and somebody gave me a flyer about your seminar, and I thought, well, that sounds interesting. So I decided to go. That's where I met you, and at that time, your hair was different. It was a good sized fro going on, and it was amazing.
I had the fro, yeah.
Yeah. You were up there playing the piano. I thought, well, I wonder where the guy is who's going to be speaking today.
Surely it's not that guy, right?
So it was a surprise. And then I was so intrigued with it. I actually went, I think it was 3 other times, and I brought friends with me each time, different friends, to come and watch that seminar each time. So, and then from there, you invited me over to help you with the seminars, putting them together, and that's how we started off several years ago. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, pretty neat stuff.
So awesome.
Yeah.
We got some good history, don't we?
We do. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and the first sanctuary meeting, it was Michael Sweet was our worship leader, and I think there were maybe 15, 17 of us in that church. The church was huge, so there were only a few of us, and it was like a little group in this big room.
Yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
Humble beginnings and blew up from there, huh?
Yeah, it sure did. Yes. It sure did. Yeah. But to answer Brian's question, thank you, Brian, for bringing that up. And yes, we're going to have some more Wise Guys. Currently, we're looking at doing Wise Guys probably once a month. It may go to twice a month, but it's just getting everybody's schedules together, because there's a number of folks on there, and getting everybody together to make that work and make it happen for timeline. So, yeah, that will definitely be in the makes and in the works. There's a number of other things that you talked about with Jake that we're working on. So, yeah, bringing it together.
Now, Todd, the best one is a new podcast called Good God. Talk about that one.
So Good God is one that I do, and I just finished putting it together. It's in the editing phase right now, so I need to edit it, put the intro, the outro, and all that together. And we are live here, and in case you're wondering, this is my one of my Great Pyrenees has shown up and decided to come up and sniff my arm, say hello.
But anyway, Todd, you have a beautiful view there, don't you? Show us the whole view of the valley there if you can.
Yeah.
So an incredible spot that Todd
this
is
at.
And
part of the house. It goes uphill. I have not cut my lawn at all this year because my lawnmower has been in the shop, and getting parts, as everyone knows, is a little challenging. And so I'll just kind of there's a chicken area out there, and then there's the start of the driveway that I walk up and down. Go over here and show you guys.
That beautiful. Look at that.
There's the
Isn't that
barns down
beautiful?
there.
Then you got the rolling hills behind you, and you got an
Yeah,
incredible place
it's really
there, Todd.
amazing. It's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is beautiful. It's we landed here in 2010. It was actually flooding in Nashville the day we were moving from
Oh,
Vernon,
yeah.
and so that
Right.
was an event. We had no idea it was going to be flooding that day, and there were 5 guys and myself. And we got here. I was taking them back home at about 12 o'clock, and their wives were calling saying everything's flooding. And we thought they were just saying, oh, the backyard's getting a little wet or whatever. But no, it was a good downpour. So yeah,
Well, you were high enough so it didn't affect you so much. But where I'm sitting right now was, well, let's see, it was about, at this level, it was about 2 feet. It was also about 2 feet inside the house. Yeah, we
yeah,
were definitely flooded out. That was a
yeah,
big flood, wasn't it?
yeah. It was. We had to do a lot of helping folks out after that. There was a
Yeah.
lot of things going on. Sure, it's a catastrophe.
So good God,
Yes.
let's talk about the podcast. What is that? What is Good God about? And talk about what you have planned for it.
So the plan with Good God is understanding that we go through challenges. There are a lot of life challenges, things that come at
Yes.
us, a lot of life events, a number of different cultural issues that are going on. And so, how do we look at those things through the lens
Mm,
of God
awesome.
and how He sees that and
Yes.
His fingerprints on it? What does that look like? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, God's got this, right?
Yes.
He never gets
Yes.
caught off surprise. God never goes, "What happened?" He doesn't. He doesn't waver and he never faults. So it's
Yes.
pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
it, Todd. And
Yeah.
I
Thanks.
know that the folks that are listening right now and watching are looking forward to it as well. Um, we've got some other new podcasts that will be starting, but this what we're doing right now with the help of Jake,
Mhm.
doing live and being able to go live and inviting our friends to come in is so awesome, isn't it? This is a really great way to communicate.
It really is. And what we're doing now, it's a little different than what we've done in the past. But we're looking to add some more live stream to this.
Yeah.
You've got you're going to be doing a couple of them with Joy Story and The Odd Couple. There's a few other ones that I want to add to it. We've got a number of other things coming up that will be live. It won't be on this format. It'll be on Zoom. And those will be classes. We'll have classes that
Yes.
are coming up as well.
Yeah,
So,
now let's talk about that. This is a
okay.
great opportunity for all of you listening today. And for all of you that aren't listening today, shame on you. What? But this is a great opportunity for folks to get involved with some Socratic discussion live. It's a great idea, isn't it, Todd?
It really is. Yeah, we've got some great teachers. Chris Keene is going to be doing rad studies, which is fantastic for anyone
Yes.
who wants to learn the intimacy of God. It's a great class to go through.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And Jamie is going to be teaching the class discussions around culture, Christianity and culture, how that works, and bringing that together. That'll be a very lively class, I'm sure.
How to navigate. Yeah.
How to navigate
Good.
that. Yep. And just there are a couple other ones also. The content of it is. So I don't know if you could hear my rooster, but he's going off here. So sorry
Now,
about that.
we were talking about noises at the very beginning, Todd, and how those noises of nature are just soothing.
Yeah,
Except if
yeah,
you're trying to sleep and the rooster starts to go off, and that's the only thing. At,
yes.
at that point, he's not soothing, is he?
No, you have to make sure there are no lights around him. Otherwise, if he gets out to we've got a pole light out here, and if he gets out to, he'll
Oh,
crow
really?
in the middle
That
of
sets
the
him off?
night. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
Well, so Todd, these are classes that people will be able to sign up for,
yep.
and they start from the first class, and after that time, the class is closed because it's progressive. And so you can take all the classes. Now they don't go on forever. It's not a
No,
year later you're still taking classes,
no.
but there's a reasonable beginning and ending, and you'll be able to sign up. And if we have too many people in a class, we'll just simply start another one, another group, so that your voice can be heard, so you can be part of the discussion, so you can ask and comment on questions as well.
It's very important, the class participation, the discussion between everyone. That's very, very
Hmm.
important. And that's why we don't want to make classes real big. So if they get to, around the 10 number, 10 or so people in a class, we'll look at starting another one, because we
Yeah.
want people to be sensitive to the time, that they're spending in the class, and then have the ability to have a voice heard within that
Like your
discussion.
rooster.
So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know sometimes the dogs will start howling behind him. So I'm glad that part hasn't happened yet.
Dude, I think it's awesome. Usually I've got I have the ducks and the geese behind me
Yeah,
making a lot of noise, and
yeah.
Lebo actually just mowed the lawn right before I started, and so they're not here when the lawn is mowed, and they must have gone to the other part of the lake. But usually there's about 100 ducks and geese in the yard, and we would have had the same problem.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Well, if you
Todd,
start pulling out some bread, I'm sure they'll come to you.
yeah. So Todd, I want to talk about that word Socratic just really quick, if we could.
Yeah.
It's a word that comes from Socrates, Socrates discussion, and Socrates believed that if you just had somebody kind of hosting and steering a conversation, and everybody is included in formulating your opinions and your conclusions, that it's a group effort. And when you have Socratic discussion, you own the discussion. It's part of you. You remember what you talked about, and you're part of formulating the ideas. So it's not listening to somebody else's ideas, but it's helping to be in the process of formulating those ideas as well. And the facilitator, the person that leads the discussion, is a teacher, and they'll do some teaching, but
Mhm.
then to take it and put it in a very practical and a very real and personal context, that the creation of Socratic discussion is so important, isn't it, Tom?
Absolutely, you bet. I think that's where we get some gleanings, we get some insight. The
Yes,
iron sharpens iron, and
yes.
it can be really productive, very good, and it's good for the heart, good for the soul. Um, I think the rooster just upped his level a little bit there. So
He has good
my
lungs.
my
Yeah.
apologies. Yeah, I didn't. Probably should have locked him up. Anyway, yeah, the discussions. Um, importance of that is having the time and having the opportunity for each person to be able to pour into the conversation, the things that are on their minds, that are on their hearts. Because
Yes.
when when they're able to do that, they feel good about being a participant, but they also get some good understanding, good feedback back. The teachers that are going to be doing these classes, I mean, you and I have known them for almost as long as you and I have known each other, within the 30-year
Yeah.
mark.
Decades. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and they're excellent, great people of God, and they're amazing people. I would love to introduce each one of them if I could, but just know that when these guys get on there and they're teaching, it's some of the best stuff that I believe is out there as far as the discussions,
That's
leading, and
awesome.
and yeah, a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge out there. So
Yes.
we've got very, very good people. Yeah.
Yeah, we really do. And
Yeah.
Todd, what a cool thing to be able to say that we've all worked together for decades
Yeah. Yeah.
and we all still like each other.
We do. Yeah. Yeah. These are great people.
Exactly.
God's
Yeah,
grace and mercy is shown every day through these guys with me.
yes. And me.
They show me quite a bit.
Todd, if they can put up with us, they're in, right? That's
Home free.
the litmus test right there. That's it.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
it. Well, folks, if you have any questions or comments, please write them. We'd love to see what you have. We'd love to be able to answer any questions that you have. And well, at least Todd would be happy to. I'm not so sure I'm so happy to, but no, I'm just kidding. But
Yeah.
folks, we'd love to hear from you. If you're just joining us, let us know your name or where you're joining us from. Patrick says, "Hi, Pastor Bob. What's your take on the legislation that's criminalizing the homeless?" Patrick, thank you for asking that. Todd, we've been working really hard on that, haven't we?
We have.
It's
You bet.
maybe you'd like to speak to it a little bit.
Well, I mean, it kind of came out of left field when it was first brought up this go around. We've had
And this is a
legislation,
Tennessee thing, by the way.
right,
Yeah.
and we've had legislation in place before that criminalizes homelessness, but they've upped the ante on it and it's gone into a felony direction to become homeless.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that don't make sense in this world, and this is one of them. I feel like.
Yes. Absolutely.
So what we're having to do now with the homeless is one thing is once this actually comes into law, which I think is July 1st, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's July 1st. And once that actually takes place, I know that they're going to pass out, just warnings and those kind of things initially. But then after that, it becomes real. And so the expectation is, what's going to happen with folks that are homeless? Where are they going to go? Where are they going to maneuver to? And that kind of thing. And as part of our ministry, we want to locate them, find them, and continue to reach out to them, make sure they've got what they need, those kind of things. But it's navigating around this. We had to check and see what kind of laws we would be breaking if, by participating and taking care of
That's
the
a big
homeless.
deal, isn't it? We don't
Yeah,
want to.
yeah,
We don't want to be guilty of breaking a law as well. Yes.
right. So there's a number of things that had to come into play on this when we were looking to, as I was investigating all this stuff. And there's still more areas to branch out and look at. Some of the things that I think there's going to be some good things that are going to come out of this. And I say that in the sense of there are a number of other ministries out there that are doing similar things that we're doing and maybe a little different and in other places. So it's going to open up some doors for us to work together. We've got
Yes.
to learn to open communication doors easier with each other. So there are things that can come out of this that I think can be good, but we have to navigate through the laws and the restrictions that are handed down to us. So it's not always fun. It's not always exciting, but we always look for where God's fingerprints are at in the mix of all this.
Absolutely.
That's
Yes.
the key.
And there are more and more people on the streets all the time because of our economy, because of all of that. And so it is a very serious issue. Thank you for asking the question. And we're trying as hard as we can to do the best that we can to reach the most people that we can. And Lebo, who runs our homeless ministry, does a phenomenal job. I should have had him on with us today instead of mowing the lawn. I know. But we'll have him on again. Lebo, as you know, does a podcast called Voices from the Street, and you'll want to watch that because he's going to be asking the homeless themselves, "What do you think about this? And what is your experience with this?" And life on the streets is really rough. A few days ago, Todd, I don't know if I told you, but one of the guys that eats with us actually killed one of the other homeless guys, murdered him. They got in a fight, and he's dead. And life on the street isn't always good. Life on the street is frustrating, and some of the people that come to eat with us, you can just see the frustration and the disappointment and just that feeling of giving up on their faces. And so, Todd, it isn't about food, it's about lifestyle, it's about what's happening inside of you. And then we
Yeah.
have so many others that we say, "How are you?" And they say, "I'm blessed," you know,
Yeah.
and they have the joy of the Lord. So there's a lot of different kinds of people, but not only are they homeless, but they're in an unsafe environment. And so uh, our challenge is not just food. Food is just the thing that gets them there. It's family. It's becoming family and everything that that entails, isn't it, Todd?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And
Yeah.
I sent you a text yesterday morning, Bob, and I woke up with the thought process of hope, and how powerful hope is. And I feel like that's a big journey of what we need to bring to
Yes.
the streets is hope,
Absolutely.
with
Yes.
some answers.
Yes.
You gotta have hope with some answers.
Well, I appreciate the question. And folks, let me just say huge thank you to all of you who help support this ministry and all of you who pray for us. Um, let me tell you, every dime that comes into this ministry is vital for us, especially right now. And we are working really hard, Todd, in getting this new truck done that will be our mobile diner. We'll be able to drive to places and people come on the truck and it's like a little diner inside and they can eat, and then we drive to the next location. And I think this is the way we're going to have to navigate some of these new laws, and the way we can even reach more people. So we're on it. But again,
Yeah,
thank you.
and the great thing about that is, because we're a ministry, there are a number of things that allow us to get around laws that are in place and going into place. So ministry
Yeah.
has some exemptions there, which makes it very nice. The truck is going to be fantastic because it's ministry owned. We don't have to worry about a number of things, that laws that are out there. But there's a number of things
Yes,
we're going to have to focus on. So we
absolutely.
all we had to do was really check with health department. We had to check with fire department, those kind of things, make sure everything's safe, all that good stuff,
Yes.
and we're good there. So outside of
We're
that,
excited to get started
yeah,
with it,
yeah, yeah,
but we're still a little ways off. We still have some work to do, but we're on
yeah,
it. We're on
yeah.
it.
It's gonna get
Well,
there.
folks,
It'll
if
get
you
there.
have any
Yeah,
more questions or comments, or just let us know that you're here, give us your name and where you're watching from, and we'd love to comment. We have a few moments left, and again, thank you for joining us today. This has been a really fun time together, and I think Jesus said, when you've heard the cock crow 3 times, there's a problem. Now, how many times has he crowed now? I'm not. I think we have a problem, Todd.
he's gone into overtime, so
Yeah, that can't
it's
be
gotten
good.
more serious.
Yeah. So Patrick says maybe you can fight City Hall. We feel like we've been doing that since the beginning. We've had mayors in Nashville that have been homeless friendly. In fact, Mayor Briley, um, came under the bridge with us and helped us feed the homeless. Very supportive. Uh, this administration has not been. We, on a bright note, for a minute, the tornado came through. You remember a few years ago and wiped out everything around the bridge where we were serving, and we're not able to serve under the bridge now for no other reason but political reasons, to be honest. No other reasons. But some of the buildings that were taken out, one of them was the fire station up the street, and there were a few others. But right now they're building an 8-story homeless building that will have 60 different places for the homeless to be. Maybe it's even more than that. But so the first time Nashville is actually doing it's in our Constitution to do, and that is to have housing for the homeless. So it's finally starting to happen in that location. So
It's supposed to be over
that's a good
600
thing.
beds.
How many?
It is over 600. It's supposed to be over 600 beds. So it's at the beginning stage of being put together. Yeah, and they're going to have a medical
That's
facility
awesome.
there, mental health facility, those kind of things. So everything
So
right
great.
there looks really good. Yeah, looks really good, and it's in a
Yeah.
really interesting location right downtown Nashville. So
Yes.
yeah.
Well, can I just add this to you guys? The biggest problem with our homeless friends is not housing. It's
Right.
emotional, spiritual, mental. And until we can find them help in those areas, nothing else really works very well. Their lifestyle will just continue in a housing facility. It won't be good. And so, and that's been our experience with people that get off the street for a little while, they get in a hotel, and they do the same things in the hotel they were doing on the streets. And it's a re-education. It's a healing process for so many of them that are terribly wounded emotionally, spiritually. And so that's really where our focus is and needs to be even more. So, Todd, as we follow our homeless friends around, and we're reaching outside of the city now, as a lot of the homeless are moving outside of metro area, it's just a matter of feeding them other things besides food. That's what we're after.
Yeah. The food is really just something that they're drawn to, but it's really spending the time with them, having the time to
Yes,
spend and listen to them, hear where they're at, what their needs are,
it's huge.
what their plans are, what they want to do, and that kind of thing,
Yes,
and help them along that path. So there's a lot of areas within the homeless ministry, in addition to feeding, that we're working on to help people get off the streets and into moving into a life that God has intended for them. And that's the challenge, is getting them through that process right there.
yes,
And not slowing down. We're not going to slow down. There's no slowing down. We're not going to, things can be created and go on around us, but I feel like God opens doors. When there's
yes.
a door that shuts over
We're just getting
here,
started.
uh, yeah,
We're just
yeah,
getting started.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we
There's
are. That's true.
exactly. So yeah, yep.
Well, absolutely. Yes. So, folks, we just have a couple of minutes left. If you have any comments or questions, or just want to say hi, this is so and so from so and so, let me know. It's great to have you joining today. Let me know if you've enjoyed this, if you want us to do this again. It's kind of fun every once in a while to pop on and do that. Colonel Sanders wants to meet your rooster.
Yeah, we're getting a
You
few
can always
more.
count on David for a good joke. And not only does David have the good jokes, but he illustrates them too. He's a good illustrator.
Yeah.
And Chris, good to see you today from Pennsylvania. Chris is a very avid sanctuary watcher and friend, and we appreciate her very much. Good to see you, Chris. Awesome.
Yeah.
And good morning from Hot Springs, Glenn and Bethany. Great friends from the Arkansas area, Hot Springs, Arkansas. And they're musicians as well. They do a lot of singing, and they're also Beatles lovers, which of course we have in common, don't we, Glenn? We love the Beatles together, and they sing a lot of Beatles songs. And every once in a while, they dedicate a song to me, which I love. That's awesome. Good people. Aaron Dean is here from Eureka, California. He says, I love Headbangers Brew. Dude, you're awesome. Now, have you tried the new cacao, the holy cacao? You need to be trying that as well. But I'm glad you love it, and that's awesome. Fred from Horseheads, New York. Good to see you again, Fred. He says, I put honey on my holy cacao. It needs something like that. So cacao is kind of a bitter bean. It's what they make chocolate out of. But in its cacao state, it's a little bit bitter. So you add a little bit of sugar, natural sugar, or anything like that would be good, honey, and then a little bit of cream, some kind of cream, and it's the best. And thank you for drinking it. And every time you buy the coffee, you help to support the homeless. And Jake, let's put that address on there once again, where you can go and find the coffee and our mugs and our t-shirts and all the cool stuff at wearemetal.wearefamily.com. You can go there as well, Jake. That address will also get you there at sanctuaryinternational.com, and just push the merch button and it'll take you right there. So that's a cool thing. Well, folks, thank you for joining us today. This has been fun, hasn't it? And I love seeing you every day. Even though I don't see you, I can see your comments. And just to know you're there, Todd, that's a pretty cool thing, isn't it?
It's a very cool thing. And yeah, there's so many people. I wish we could get to all these folks on here, but they're just it's running through.
It's coming up. We will in the future.
Yeah.
And folks, if you're able to attend one of the festivals this summer, I'd love to see you. I'll be at Audio Feed coming up just a few weeks right before the 4th of July. Actually, the 4th of July is the day after, but that's in Champaign, Illinois. And then I'll be at Immortal Fest in Ohio the first week of September over Labor Day. So, folks, if you can attend either one of those, plus, Todd, we've got some other gatherings coming up in the future that we'll be announcing at some point. And again, yes, we would love to meet you in person. But in the meantime, we've got these live broadcasts. We'll have the classes soon, and we'll keep you in touch on all of those things. So, Todd, this has been a great time. We've enjoyed it. And I guess it's time now. Do you see? I think I have, well, let me see if I can get out of the way and you can see him. One of the geese just joined me. I have a geese, Todd, that maybe you've seen him, a goose, excuse me, that is missing a foot. And he can fly, but he can't walk. And so he flies in, and then he usually flies in right at my feet, and I feed him because I think one of the only ways he can get food. But so he just flew in, and he's probably saying, "Feed me, I'm starving."
Yeah.
Like
I bet he is.
Yes. Folks, I hope you have a great day. I hope your day is as beautiful as ours is here in Tennessee. And Todd, it's time to go play. This is a good day for just goofing around.
Let's do it.
Folks, you heard it from Todd and Bob. Go goof around. Saying, folks, God bless you. Have a great day.
See ya.